My name is Jessica Wishart and I'm a Bidjara woman from Central Queensland, but I grew up on Aranda country in Alice Springs in Buntua, and my cultural ties are in Alice Springs.
My name is Thomas Hicks. I'm a Yamatji man from WA, born and raised on Kaurna country.
And we are here to share with you the story of Kere country. Kere country is an Aboriginal owned and operated meat distribution company. Our aim is to provide affordable and quality meat packages to Aboriginal people living in remote Aboriginal communities within Central Australia.
We have a strong commitment to demonstrating respect for community and cultural way of life.
The idea for Kere country came about after a visit home. During the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic here in Australia, my brother and I were in Alice Springs, and we wanted to go to the stores and the shops to make sure that we could get enough meat and supplies for our family to get through the next few weeks. While we were there, we were really taken back and just shocked by the prices that we had to pay. And as people that are on good incomes, we were questioning how people that weren't on our incomes would be able to afford this. Not only in Alice Springs, but in our remote communities. So we did some investigating and asked some questions of the community members and made some phone calls to some families that were living out on communities. And what we found was that they just couldn't afford the meat. They just couldn't afford the supplies, so they were going without. So we had conversations with a friend here who lives in South Australia and owns a farm and produces meat, and spoke to her about our idea. For us, we couldn't get over how our friend can get good quality, affordable meat to China, yet we haven't worked out a way to get good quality meat to our families living in Central Australia. So with that came about Kere country.
There are multiple reasons why the prices in these communities are so high.
Transport is a massive cost. We're dealing with roads that with no bitumen, they're all corrugated roads, so the wear and tear costs are higher. So that makes the freighting costs higher. Staff turnover, there's a massive staff turnover in remote communities. Wages for people to come out and live in isolated areas to run community stores are a lot higher.
Building maintenance and repairs can be extremely expensive for stores in remote communities. A combination of these factors contribute to a high cost of living, which continues to negatively impact communities of low economic statuses.
Our families are being forced to spend up to 80% of their income on food and essential items. So they're often forced to buy the not healthy items that are cheaper or the takeaway items that are cheaper, which then leads to health outcomes and worsens the health outcomes that they're dealing with. We're dealing with populations that are really disadvantaged and populations living with chronic health disease.
There are 7 leading diseases contributing to the life expectancy gap between Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people, 5 of which are dietary related. Access to fresh and affordable food can greatly improve health outcomes for Aboriginal people living in these remote locations.
Well, the impact that it is having is devastating. High prices isn't equating to high quality food. Items that have limited shelf life once they arrive to the communities. Meat that has gone nearly off, so they've refrozen it and sold it to the community members.
Families have no choice but to go without. Prices as high as $28 for a tin of instant coffee, $82 for a tray of chops, or $85 for a tin of baby formula. These are prices that no Australian should be expected to pay.
The issue of high food and living costs in Aboriginal communities has been known by locals for many years. Government attempts to address this issue over the past 2 decades have either been short-lived or not allocated the adequate resources needed.
In '99, there was an NT inquiry into food security in the Northern Territory. In 2009, we have developed a food security strategy for remote communities. There's been a number of inquiries, there's been a number of projects, but we're still dealing with the same issues. We're still yet to be afforded a solution in these communities. Kere country is about Aboriginal people solving Aboriginal issues.
We understand Aboriginal business and value community life.
Kere country will make a difference by eliminating all barriers preventing our families from accessing affordable, fresh meat.
Kere country is about saying what we want, determining what we want in our communities and not waiting for the government to determine what's good enough.
If nothing is done, our communities will continue to suffer at the hands of rampant disease and poor mental health.
We have no chance of closing the gap here if we don't start providing affordable quality food so that our families in these communities can have a healthy diet, can provide healthy meals to their family and their elders. And what happens next time there's a pandemic and something like COVID happens again? It's just something that as Australia we can't stand for, and we have to come together and say that this is unacceptable. Why is Kere country asking for your help? As Aboriginal people, we feel a sense of responsibility to our Aboriginal families and community members living in these locations. But we realise that this crisis is an Australian crisis. We're inviting you to be a part of the solution.
Choosing to support our business will allow us to positively affect the lives of Australians in need of change.
We are seeking financial contribution to secure the startup costs of this company that will directly impact the lives of Aboriginal people living in these communities. It will end the crisis that they are facing and contribute to a better standard of living.